What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Old Glory Red Report. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun and answer some questions submitted by the fans of Old Glory Red Report. So we'll do that.
We're going to do our best at it.
And we'll do that right after this.
We are Republic! We are Republic! We are Republic! We are Republic! Let's go! Sacramento!
Thanks for joining us here at Old Glory Red Report live at Fort Rock Brewery in Folsom. Right? Is it Folsom? Rancho Cordova?
I think it's still Rancho.
We're right on the edge there. So
yeah, it's also Folsom Boulevard and Hazel. So
yes,
if you're looking for
Hazel.
it, it's at the right there.
Yeah, right off of 50. You can't miss it.
Link in the description below. You can find it. Trust me.
Thanks for joining us today. We are going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to answer some questions submitted by fans of our program, so we appreciate
Let's start
it.
out by saying thank you for submitting the questions. And in the future, if you have more questions, we love to do these things. So definitely put the questions below. We'll put out some feelers out there for when we're going to do the Q&As to get your guys' questions. We appreciate it.
Yes, we appreciate it very much. So we're going to have a little fun, talk about things Republic and non-Republic just in the world of soccer. So first, our first question is actually about FIFA, the most popular soccer simulation football game on the planet. I love FIFA. I know you do as well.
I enjoy playing some FIFA as well, yes.
Brennan asks who our FIFA Ultimate Team starting 11 is. I'll go first. I don't play Ultimate Team. I love diving into career mode. I love finding those gems. I love playing season after season. Taking a smaller club, like right now I'm currently doing a Crystal Palace, but I've done like a Newcastle. I'll do one of the smaller clubs, one of the humble clubs with a tight budget, try to buy players, improve their stats and make them world class. One player I always get, no matter what, is Benfica superstar, the young 19-year-old starlet, João Felix from Benfica again. No matter what team, he's always one of my forwards. That's a given. What about you? What do you like to do on FIFA?
You know, again, I'm with you. I don't really play Ultimate Team, so Brandon, I'm sorry if we were not able to answer that for you because I don't really play Ultimate Team. I generally play against my friends. We usually have little like parties where we get together, 3 or 4 of us, and we just do like little one-off tournaments and things like that. So generally when I play, it's just kind of like one game at a time, or I do career mode.
Is it always a Liverpool one or what?
No. I generally try to start out playing, like when we're playing in the little groups, we do generally random. We'll pick a league or we'll pick like international, and then you kind of do random to keep things fun. Make sure the teams are as level as possible with like talent and all that. So we do that. But when I play career mode, I've been on San Jose. I've been on a lot of the
MLS,
teams.
huh? A little MLS.
I like to make my own player and then see if I can work his up into the career. See if I can get him from the United States into like Europe somewhere. Mm-hmm. That's the fun part for me. So when I play, those are the kind of things I play. I don't really play the Ultimate Team. But there's always players that you want to get in your lineup, you know, Messi, Suarez, Ronaldo. These are guys that if you can get them in your lineups in the Ultimate Teams, you're going to be doing good. So there's great players to put into those Ultimate Teams. I just don't play that particular.
Yeah, absolutely. I like some of those icons too. Eusebio is a good one. Pele,
yeah, I mean,
Zidane. Those players are always fun.
You can't get
absolutely. It's always the players that are like pacey, but they have size like the Ronaldos, you know, because they can win the headers, they can shoot, they can do pretty much everything. So we'll go ahead into the next question also from Brennan. He says, what positions are we in most need of addressing at the summer transfer window? Usually we do bring a player or two in. We've brought in Bijev in the summer. Last year, Matijasic. So we are a team that is usually aggressive, looking to bring players in rather than send players out in the summer to make that playoff push. Is there a particular position that you can think of right now that like we must address at this point in time?
Center forward. Bonomo's not doing the job for us. And Isley didn't do the job for us last year. It's been a while since we've had, I mean, Iwasa, I guess, is a center forward. So let's,
another attack.
I don't want to say that, but I think he's better when he plays a little deeper in the attack. If you go with the 4-4-2, he's generally that guy that's going to sit back on the attack. We need another straight-up, outright center forward that can hold the ball up, that can create chances up top, and that can use his head to put the ball in the back of the net. That's something that we're missing, in my opinion. So that's who I would.
Yeah, and in this sport, that's usually what the target is. If you're a team looking to improve, it's usually adding another attacking player. We are solid in the back right now. In fact, adding McCrary recently, we don't need to add another defensive player.
No, and there was a while when I said left back was that position.
And then we got one.
But we got him.
Yeah.
With Mahoney, McCrary, Gomez, even Horde can play in the left back, right back positions. We have that covered now, so.
Yeah, so other than center forward, I would say maybe another winger, depending on how it all shakes out, depending on Bijev's health, depending on Blackwood's fit, depending on if Horde is going to be playing more at that right mid position. So that's another spot, but I agree. Center forward, for sure. Maybe somebody that can go in with some size and win a header, get on the end of a cross. We'll move on, though. Any current SRFC players do you think that may need to be loaned out? Maybe they just don't fit with the club at this moment in time.
I think it goes back to, we're not getting Bonomo in that play. He's not fitting into the lineup. There's also guys that, haven't really made an appearance that I think maybe need some time out. We get Partain in every once in a while, but maybe he could go out and get some experience somewhere else. Our younger guys like Butler and Hadawin, those guys can also go out on loan and get some experience. So, yeah, I think if I have to say, I'm going to go with Butler and Hadawin. Those guys, those academy players could probably do.
I think, we don't have a big squad, so I don't think at this moment in time you loan anybody out. I think we kind of stand with the status quo the last couple of years. We bring a player or two in, but we don't really do anything. The academy players don't touch them. Again, I want them around the club. I don't want them leaving, and I don't think that's in the plans.
Fair enough.
Guys like Bonomo, Blackwood, they're not going to be moving in their first season with the club. I honestly could see a guy like Bijev possibly being a player at some point that gets moved, whether it's this year or next year, but I still think that's extremely unlikely to happen.
Well, I'm with you. Loans out at this point with the squad we have probably aren't going to happen. We're more likely to get some guys in to strengthen the squad than we are to loan anybody out at this point. So.
All right, so another question from Brennan. Other than Manchester City and Liverpool, which we know will be first and second, regardless of the order, we know they're going to finish in the top two.
Liverpool?
What other two Premier League clubs would you prefer to see make the top four? Right now, those options are Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea. Now, pick your two that you think are going to make it and pick your two that you would prefer to make it.
Tottenham is going to make it. And,
now, do you prefer them to make it?
I do not.
You do not? Okay.
Tottenham. If you're a Tottenham fan, sorry. But,
they're not good.
I'm not a big Tottenham fan at all. So.
But they beat Man City though.
They did well, and great for them knocking them out of the Champions League.
That was a great game.
And great run for Tottenham in the Champions League.
Absolutely.
I think that's terrific for them. I am not someone that can't appreciate what other clubs are doing. Now, Tottenham has a great lineup, has a great team. Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Son is also a great player.
They call him Son, but I call him Sonaldo.
All great players. So regardless of my personal bias, great team, great players in that team. They are going to finish in the top four.
And who's your other one?
I would like to see Chelsea finish in there, but I think it's going to more probably be Arsenal.
You would like to see Chelsea finish in the top four. Is that because of our friend John?
That is because of our friend John. He is a Chelsea fan.
Screw John. I don't want to see Chelsea in there.
Just for him being happy, I'd like to see them finish in the top four. Plus, they're a team that, we have our rivalries. As a Liverpool fan, we have but we're not the biggest rivals ever compared to, Man United or even Man City at this point. So,
yeah.
Chelsea. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think Tottenham will make it. They're in the best position, and quite frankly, the other three teams are just kind of tripping over their own feet at this moment in time. So Tottenham, usually the team that trips over their own feet, look and appear like they might make it to the Champions League final and also make it and get a third place finish in the Premier League.
They have to play Ajax, right?
Yeah, so they could do it. So Tottenham for sure, and I do want to see them in just because I do like some of their players.
An all-English final would also be pretty cool.
I just think that Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United are all clubs that are trying to find their identity right now, but Tottenham has an identity, so I think that they would fare well in the Champions League. Of course, Manchester United is a team that I would want to see finish in fourth. That's the team I grew up watching. I still think they could do it. They're on a bad run of form right now, but they have a big match this Saturday against Chelsea.
Absolutely.
At Old Trafford. Both teams, you know, I think they might just do it. But yes, I do think they will be fourth because Arsenal losing to Wolves today, I don't see them getting in the top four. So I do think it'll come down between the winner of Chelsea and Manchester United this weekend.
You know, honestly, if it's not Liverpool, I don't care what the other teams do. So good on all of them. Hopefully Liverpool wins the league. It's looking a little rough at this point with the result that we saw today against Man United and Man City. That result probably puts a lot of pressure on that title race. We need them to slip up, but, you know, for the rest of it, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know what just happened. But anyways, this question comes from our good buddy Scott, a guy that we will for sure see at the
Scott
tailgate.
Bradford, he's also going to be a guest coming up on the State of the Republic, so look for him.
Oh no, don't watch that one.
Oh, he's going to be here, and he's going to have opinions.
Our good friend Scott, always a good time. He wants to know, I think this question is directed to Kasey.
Probably.
Did Mohamed Salah dive against Cardiff City this last weekend? Yes or no?
No. 100% no. Maybe he goes down easy, but that's after 15, 20 seconds of being held like a fucking cuddle bear from the defender. You know, when your defender's got your arms wrapped around you, you've got to do something to show the ref it happened. And so if you want to say he went down easy, then sure. But that is a clear-cut penalty. Even the Cardiff manager can't argue this one.
I think he got assaulted.
It's a penalty.
I think he got assaulted.
He got felt up is what he got felt
Yeah,
up.
I think
there was hands, it was cuddles everywhere.
I think the defender could have left in handcuffs after the game. I do not think it was a dive. I think it was a clear penalty. All right, Scott has another question. This pertains to our club, Public FC. The next 2 weeks, it's going to be a tough one. We have 2 matches each week. Las Vegas away, Fresno away, Reno at home, and Reno at home again just 3 days later in the U.S. Open Cup. He wants to know how crucial the next 2 weeks will be for this club this season.
Absolutely. These are all teams that we need to pick up 3 points again. I think against Las Vegas, if we get 3 points, that's good. They have not been the most terrific team, but they have had some results recently.
They're better.
Yeah, they've gotten better.
They're a respectable team, unlike last year.
I would go a long way from saying a respectable team with foam parties, DJs, and llamas.
I'm saying they're on the field. On the field.
We'll give you on the field. So yeah, I think that'll be a tough game. They have been doing much better, so it'll be a tough game. Fresno away is going to be another 3 points. Anytime you're away against a team that we figure is going to finish in the top 10, top 8, that's a key 3 points, and you need to win them away. That's what's going to win you a championship. That's what's going to win you the league. For me, Reno home again in the Cup. I think we should be able to beat Reno, but they have had a little resurgence recently after another bad start to a season. So those would be crucial games, but I think between the 4 games, we'll at least get 9 points.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because I think Las Vegas away and Fresno away, you know, just a couple days in between, that's going to be tough. Fresno's a tough team, and I think Vegas is a scary team too. We talked about it before. Vegas leads the league in shots attempted and shots on target. That means that they're finding themselves in good situations. They're not scoring a lot of goals, but it could be a change where they start putting in a lot of goals. When you create that many chances, you really start to put goals away at some point. So tricky fixtures there. Reno home twice in a week. I want to see us win the U.S. Open Cup game against Reno, to be honest with you. I put a little bit of priority in that just because we usually do make a decent run each year in that competition. And I would like to see us play an MLS side again.
Yeah, that'd be great. I agree with you 100%. I think it's going to be a tricky 4 games for us. I think the 2 Renos away is going to be kind of, or 2 Renos at home is going to be kind of good for us because we see them come once. We get to take on that challenge. Then we see them in the Cup. So then we get to see how they've already played, and we got to fill them out, and we get another attempt at it. So hopefully that works out in our favor.
All right, and a question from David Templeton. David, thanks for your input. He wants to know, what are the pros and cons of our attack and our defense for 6 games? Do you want to start, or do you want me to go?
Go ahead. I'll follow up on
I mean, pros, our defense has been superb. 5 goals given up through 6 games. That's going to win a lot of games, at least not lose a lot of games.
Yeah.
And the fact is everybody, even players that may not be starters, guys like Horace off the bench, I mean, we have a solid group of defenders. I don't see any problems at all with the organization. I don't see any problems physically. I think we're solid there. I would say the only gripe out of the back is maybe a little bit more from the attack from the back on the wings, Gomez and McCrary going forward.
Absolutely.
What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you on the defensive aspect. Look, we're a good defensive team. We were a good defensive team last season.
And the season before.
Elliott has this defensive tactic down. It really works for us, and he's been terrific. But, you know, honestly, the attack is the issue. And if you're looking at the pros and cons of the attack, all the cons come from the attack.
Absolutely.
Not enough movement.
I'll let
creativity,
you just dive right into that.
Not enough going forward. Relying on Iwasa to score our goals. You know, he's got 5 out of our 12 goals or whatever it is this season.
8 goals. We've only scored 8 goals.
Well, that's even worse than I thought. So 8 goals this season. So you're running into these issues where the attack isn't good enough. We've had good defense. We need to work on that attack. All the cons are in the attack.
Yeah, the pros of the attack is Cameron Iwasa. The cons are basically, other than Warner, everybody else who plays alongside Cameron Iwasa.
Everything else.
And I don't mean to point out and make it a personal thing, because it could absolutely be tactics. And David's next question, I mean, it could be the formation, but that's his next question, so let's lead into it. Is our talent being utilized the best in our current setup? We've been playing the 4-2-3-1, or should Elliott consider changing the tactics? Are the players being utilized effectively?
We've talked about this before, and thank you, David, for this question, because I think it's a key for us, is maybe we should switch to a back 3 with the defensive talent we have and allow our wingers to go up more.
Especially when Horace is available, right?
If you put Horace, Tainter, and Kanan in the back, and you have like Gomez or even McCrary and Horde going forward. I love Gomez. I don't want to say anything bad, but Crary and Horde create more chances in the winger position moving forward. You're just adding 2 more guys to your attack. Well, 1 more guy because you're taking 1 out, but you're adding another guy to the attack and creating that space out wide. And with the height we have in the team, with players like Bonomo that we talked about before, and some of that back line, those crosses are going to be crucial. So for me, I think moving to a back 3 just gives us more attacking going forward.
Yeah, we saw last year, especially that, I think it was the U.S. Open Cup against Reno, where we switched to a back 3, a 3-5-2. It looked really good. I like that idea. I think it's something that could be considered a 3-4-2-1 type of formation. Maybe we have that same back 3, Gomez and McCrary, or Horde and Gomez, or Horde and McCrary, and then you have your Sari and your Skundrich or Partain in the middle.
Absolutely.
And then right underneath a Bonomo, you have a Bijev and a Wasa, or a Blackwood and a Wasa. Regardless, those 3 up top will be closer because you'll have the width from the 4 in the midfield because you're going to a 3-back formation. So, not to get too deep into it, but I mean, it's definitely something that I think should be on the coach's mind. I don't know if it is, because we know Elliott likes to play a 4-2-3-1. And even last year against Reno, the formation worked, and like the next week, he just went back to the old strategy. And it was like, maybe give it a little bit more of a run, you know?
Let's give Elliott credit. He sees these guys week in and week out in training. He maybe sees what's best, and maybe he's seeing something we're not. But from the results that we've had and from the situations that we came up from last season to this season, I think something needs to change from that 4-2-3-1. We're just not being creative. Now, whether you move to a 4-3-3 attacking, or maybe even a 4-4-2, where you put Iwasa and Bonomo up top and let them interchange. Something needs to maybe change to make that front line work a little bit better.
Yeah, I was even considering a 4-4-2 as well. You know, you stack a guy on the right wing like a Horde, and you have a Warner on the left side, and then you have a true two striker setup with a Bonomo Awasa or a Blackwood Awasa.
Blackwood Awasa would add that creative strength as well as the speed and skills.
And you know what? Some people may think that that's an old school strategy, but the 4-4-2 in world soccer has really made a comeback the last few years. Leicester City, most notably, when they won the Premier League. But even we see teams like Atletico Madrid, they play that 4-4-2 to perfection. It's a very counter-pressing formation, and it's a very direct formation. But we play a very direct game. I mean, if you look at it, most of our long balls are coming from our center backs across the field. Yeah. Now, we don't play a lot of slick passing through the midfield where a 4-2-3-1 is utilized. So maybe the tactics will change. I guess we'll find out.
You know, you can talk shit about the 4-4-2 all you want, but it is a very standard, solid format that can win you games if you have the right players.
2 banks of 4, man. Two banks of 4.
And you see it, especially when you have such a good defensive lineup. A 4-4-2 is not a bad thing to go into.
Especially if you have two pacier players up top, like a Blackwood and a Wassa, and you allow them the freedom to go wide, the freedom to come back into the midfield to pick up a ball and run at defenders. It's interesting. So,
great question, David.
Very good question. Thank you guys for all your questions. I got a question for you, though. We're not done.
Okay. Well,
we're not going to let you off.
We got our own fan questions coming from Marc and Kasey.
So the Final Four, the semifinals for the Champions League, sees your Liverpool against Barcelona, and also on the other side, Ajax and Tottenham. Who are the two teams that progress from the semifinals?
That's a very, very tough question, especially as a Liverpool fan. Look, Barcelona's awesome. They're an amazing team. Suarez, Messi, Coutinho. I mean, they just have...
Coutinho, former Liverpool player.
Yeah, I mean, they just
remember that guy?
Yeah, I do remember him very well, honestly.
Suarez, too?
I remember Suarez as well, very honestly. So they are a terrific team. Now, do I think Liverpool can beat them? Yes. Do I think it's going to be as easy as we're through? No. On the other side of it, Ajax has been terrific. They have been the underdogs that no one has really gave the credit to, but they have played terrific football.
So who do you got?
So I am going to say in the final, just on my bias, it's going to be Ajax, Liverpool. And then Liverpool's going to win it, because Liverpool!
I think Ajax will also get by Tottenham. They are overlooked. Let's look at it, though. They've knocked off Real Madrid, the defending champion. They've also knocked off Ronaldo and Juventus.
Yeah.
So, hey, they've earned their stripes. They're facing a Tottenham team.
Sleep on Ajax.
But they're facing a Tottenham team that has no Harry Kane and is fighting to also, on the domestic front, stay in the top 4. So Tottenham, they don't have a big squad. And I think that their lack of squad depth might hurt them. Ajax is a slick passing team. I remember those old kits in the early 90s with the red stripe in the middle.
I've always loved Ajax.
Yeah.
I'm a big Netherlands fan, and as far as that goes, Breda, you're going to probably get relegated this season, but big up to Breda.
On the other side, I do think Liverpool will be the team that progresses.
Really?
I do, because...
Surprise.
Because of no other than Virgil van Dijk. I think he is a mountain of a defender, and I think he is pacey enough to stop a guy like Messi and a guy like Suarez. Yeah, and no, I do like Liverpool because I think that their attack with Salah and Mane could definitely give Barcelona some problems. So I will agree with you. Although Barcelona, I think I don't know if I'm sleeping on them. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong.
No, they're good. There is nothing wrong with Barcelona.
But I just don't
team
think
that has everything that they need to win.
I think if Liverpool and Barcelona on their best days, Liverpool's slightly better.
Yeah, and I agree. And that's
of course you agree.
Yeah, obviously. But that's, like I said, my opinion. I think Barcelona is a great team. I don't want to count them out. And in any given day, they can win the game. And it's going to be about what team comes out that day and lines up, especially with the home and away fixtures. Mm-hmm. That's always a tough one.
All right, last question for you. The 7th spot in the English Premier League is up in the air. There are 4 teams vying for 1 spot. We know that this spot could possibly see that team get into the Europa League next year, assuming that Manchester City wins the FA Cup final. So if Manchester City knocks off Watford in the FA Cup final, then one of either Wolves, Leicester, Watford, or Everton will be the 7th place team and earn a spot into Europa League. Who takes the spot?
Look, Watford is great. They've been a good team all season. They have good, solid players. No one that's like the standout, fantastic player of the
Deulofeu is
season.
pretty good, but yeah.
But they have good players. So you're not going to rule Watford out. And honestly, they're one of my front runners for getting that spot just because they're good.
They host Wolves this weekend.
Yeah, Wolves deserve it. They have done fantastic for a team that just was promoted to even be in the top half of the table is awesome. So good on them for that. But I think Watford is probably going to take it over.
Yeah, Everton got that smashing result against United 4-0, making them look silly. It really helped their chances. They might have the easier schedule, but right now they sit behind Wolves and Watford. Again, Wolves-Watford this weekend, Saturday morning. So at the tailgate, I'll either be a little sad or a little bit happy, and you'll know why.
Everton just hasn't shown enough for me this season to say they deserve it. So
Yeah, other than that, guys, we appreciate your questions. We'll do this more often. We love the input. Let us know your opinions on the questions that we answered. Give us your feedback. Who's going to finish in the top 4 in the English Premier League? Who's going to be the 2 teams that advance in the Champions League semifinals? And all the other questions that we talked about. Who's going to get 7th in the EPL and all that? But thanks again for joining us. You got anything you want to add?
yeah, as always, check us out on Facebook, Old Glory Red Report, Twitter and Instagram at Old Glory Red. If you're watching us on YouTube, thumbs up, like, share. We appreciate that. We are part of the Beautiful Game Network. You'll probably be able to hear all of these on that as well. So if you watch that or you listen to the podcast, Beautiful Game Network, check that out. Mark Anthony, thanks for joining me as always. Casey J, until next time, peace, guys.